Hello students, once again we are back to the business law session for B.B.A 5th semester. So we have completed the first topic, the definition of the contract, the essentials of the valid contract and the kinds of the contract. Now we will move to the second topic. So in the second topic, as I mentioned to you, what you have studied the essentials. Now we are going to study them in detail. So each of them we are going to discuss, like proposal, the acceptance, consideration, the free consent, the legal object. So other aspects which we have studied. Section 10. Section 10 which has given the essentials of the valid contract. Now we are going to study each of them in detail. So today we are going to start with here the most important the essentials of a valid contract, that is proposal, or it is also called as offer. Proposal or offer. So now before we go to what is actually the definition, just here mainly as a layman you should understand what this term means, the offer or the proposal. Now so when we say the proposal here or an offer by a person, it shows that that person has mainly given his willingness for any act, for to do something. So that willingness is expressed. That willingness what the person expresses is the proposal or it is the offer. For example, A proposes to sell his car for 2 lakhs to B. So A has shown his willingness to sell his car. So A is said to have made the proposal here. He has made the proposal. He has shown his willingness mainly to here do the act, that is to mainly sell his car. To sell his car, he has mainly shown his willingness. So this is here what mainly we are here discussing today. So this is, if you ask a layman a definition, what you mean by proposal or what you mean by an offer, here this is what we get. This is the meaning what we get. The willingness of the person here which comes out here mainly to another person. So this we call it as a proposal. But if you go here according to the law, what is the definition given in the Indian Contract Act, we will try to understand now. Section 2, here clause A defines the word proposal or the offer. The word proposal or offer is defined in section 2, here clause A. If you look at the definition, the whole definition I have written on the board. Here this definition is a very lengthy definition. And as you know that in your examination you need not remember each word by word the definition. Just if you give the gist of the meaning, here it is enough for the mainly examiner. So what is the thing is that here the student must understand what is that offer. What is that terminology means. So without changing the meaning you can put it even in your own words. So just what we had discussed earlier, the same thing can be put here. But if you look at the definition, as we will go with the definition. So what does the definition says? Where one person expresses his willingness to do an act or abstain from doing such an act. So where one person expresses his willingness to do an act or abstain not to do here from doing such act with a view to get the assent of another. For such act or abstinence he is said to have made a proposal. So if you read this, it is very easy. Here you can divide this definition. So usually you have here in a contract, here two parties. Two parties will be there. So in two parties, here one person expresses his willingness to do an act or to abstain, not to do an act. So it may be in a positive sense or it may be in a negative sense. So what we find is where one person in a contract, to form a contract there must be two persons. Already we have seen this. So one person who mainly here expresses willingness to do or not to do. Here some act, an act. With what intention he is expressing it? What is the reason for expressing his mainly the willingness? Is to get the assent of another. To get the assent of another, the consent of another. So there are two parties. One person is showing his willingness to do the act. So to whom he is doing? To the other party, to get his assent, consent. So to get his consent, he is mainly showing his willingness to do that act or abstinence. So such a person is said to have made a proposal. The person who expresses his willingness to do the act or abstain from doing the act is said to have made the proposal. He is said to have made the proposal. So what is the intention of making the proposal? To get the assent of another. To get the assent, consent of another. The willingness of another to be understood. Here whether he is ready to accept such act from the person who is making it. So the person who makes the proposal is called as the proposer. He is known as the proposer or offerer. Or very common word we can use is promisor. Promisor, proposer or offerer. The person who makes. So this can be asked for 2 marks. You may expect a 2 marks question here. What is a proposal? Or define an offer. Define a offer. Or they may ask you who is a offerer, who is a proposer. So in a contract where one person here expresses willingness to do an act or abstain from doing such act with a view to get the assent of another. With a view to get the assent of another for such act or abstinence, he is said to have made the proposal. And the person who makes the proposal is called as the proposer. Now, in the examination, you have to put one small here example for this. So there are 2 parties, A and B. A and B are the parties. A mainly shows his willingness mainly to here sell his bicycle for 1,000 rupees. And in this he expresses willingness to here B. So what is the B? Why he is expressing before the B? Because to get the consent of the B for that whether he is ready to purchase that bicycle. So A becomes the proposer. The A becomes the proposer, or A is said to have made the proposal. So just one small example, taking hypothetical here words mainly like A and B, X and Y, M, N and O, P. You can take anything. You need not use the names itself. So hypothetical examples can be here mainly given. So this here is section 2. Here clause A. That is a proposal. This is the first here the important element of a valid contract. Without proposal there cannot be further here the formation of the contract. So it is the basic element of the contract. One person has to make this here the proposal. So to form a contract here, because the other person will be accepting it. So this is the basic element for the formation of the contract. The proposal is said to be the basic element for the formation of a contract there. So this meaning you have to understand, and this is the definition which is given in a section here 2A there. So this is the first thing what we have said. Now moving further, so we will be discussing the modes of the offer. So you have understood what is the meaning of the offer. Now what are the modes of the offer? The different modes, how the offer can be made. So here broadly you have got 4 modes. Express offer, implied offer. Sometimes these are very common words used. Express offer and implied offer. Sometimes the words like we use specific offer and general offer. Specific offer and general offer. That is also another terminology is used. Now these are all for 2 marks questions. 2 marks questions here will be asked. So we will try to understand what is an express offer. What you mean by the term express offer? So where a person makes a proposal in the words written or words spoken, he is said to have made the express offer. So the person who mainly makes the proposal, in 2 forms he may do it. Either he may put it in writing. He may put it in the writing and express his willingness. So here this is called as express offer. Or he may put this particularly the willingness in the form of here the words spoken. Verbally he can transmit here his willingness. So this is also called as express. So express here is mainly 2 types, what we call it as. So it may be in written form or it may be in oral form. So because you can say, you have noticed that here when the contract is made, contract can be written or oral, you know it. So proposal can be here written or oral, so that we use it as an express offer. So such 2 marks questions will be there. For example, here X writes a letter to B. X writes a letter to Y stating that he is ready to sell his furniture for here 15,000 rupees. His furnitures are to be sold for 15,000 rupees. So he writes a letter to here Y. So X has written to Y about his willingness to sell the furniture for the price that he has 15,000. So this is here, as it is in the form of a letter, what we say, it is in a written form. The offer is in the written form. Likewise, here mainly sending a message, typed message is also in a written form. It is in a written form, what we call it as. So this is here all called as express offer. This is an example. Also here it may be oral form. So over a telephonic message, here X may say that he is ready to sell his furniture here for 15,000 rupees to Y. Here if he is ready to purchase, here it is by oral transmission, verbal transmission. So this is also express offer, 2 types. So that's why when we use the word express, it should be oral as well as written. This is the first thing you have to understand. Second one, we are using the term here implied offer. How the offer can be made. So sometimes offer can be implied. Implied means it is here mainly inferred from the conduct of the parties. From the conduct of the party, we are going to infer that the offer is said to be made. The offer has been made. So it is here called as an implied. Neither it is in written form, neither it is in a oral form. It is on the conduct here of the party, we understand that offer is made. For example, here a person is running a service garage, car service garage. So what is it is mainly here he has particularly here made an offer that he will service the cars, and you accepted his offer and you have given your mainly car for the service there. So offer is there. Running a hotel, here that shows he has made an offer to offer the tea, coffee, beverages, here snacks, everything. And for that, here a person who enters and has it, he should pay it. That is understood, accepted. So that is impliedly understood. It is impliedly understood. The KSRTC bus running here from one place to another place, here that is a here implied offer made by KSRTC that we are going to carry you, and for that to transit, if you accept it, you should pay the here whatever the price is there. So like these are examples for implied offer. Neither here the offer is made here orally nor verbally. The offer is given here mainly through implied conduct. So if you remember in our previous class, I had discussed about one mainly a hypothetical case about a coolie A coolie here, when he sees a passenger with a luggage on the platform, he picks up that luggage here and moves towards the taxi stand, and the passenger follows him. The coolie keeps the luggages in the taxi and he asks for the higher charges. The passenger says that I have not asked you to carry. I have not asked you to carry there. But here when that here coolie picked up the luggage and he started to walk here towards the exit. Here, if he did not wanted the service of the coolie, the passenger would have stopped the coolie from carrying it. But he allowed him to carry and he followed him. It is impliedly from your contact you have understood that here you have accepted it, and that person has made this is implied. It is based on the conduct. Conduct we are going to understand the offer has been made. The offer has been made here based on here mainly the conduct of the party. The coolie picking up the luggages, it shows that impliedly he picks up it, and what mainly the passenger will not stop it, and he mainly accepts it and he moves towards the exit with the following coolie there. So implied offer. It is implied. The whole thing is understood based on here the conduct of the parties. The conduct of the parties is most important. Such offer we call it as implied offers. Likewise, specific offer. Sometimes this word also is used. Specific offer. Specific offer is the word when here to a specific person the offer is made. Specific person. It may be a single person. It may be here a class of persons. Now for example, RLS company has announced here additional 50,000 of discount for the class of the doctors. On purchase of any car, 50,000 additional discount will be given. So this is exclusively what we call it as a specific offer. This has been made only to the doctor community. So others cannot claim that 50,000 discount. So that's what specifically it may be made to a person, or it may be a class of person. It may be a, now X and Y if there are there, then we can say it is a specific offer here which has been made to Y. So if it is for the doctors, you cannot say that it is a general offer. It is here made a specific offer only to that community, because society comprises of many communities. So only to the doctor community this here discount is given. So what we call it as specific offer is made only to that community. It's a specific offer. And lastly, the general offer. It is here open to the offer is open to the public and any person can accept it. It is open to the public. For example, A giving an advertisement in a paper. A giving an advertisement in a paper. So A gives an advertisement in the paper that he wants to sell his mainly here the Maruti car so and so model, and mainly any person interested can contact here the following address and the telephone number, whatever he gives it. So what has A shown is a willingness to anyone. It is not specific, it is open to the public at large. That we call it as a general offer. It is open to the public at large. It is open that the mainly any person can accept and here can contact him and may purchase the car. So giving an advertisement, it is an open public here offer we are making it. That is here we call it as a general offer. Now here there is one decided case here. Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company Limited. Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company Limited case. This is a decided case. So what were the facts? It's the case of a general offer. It's a case of a general offer. What were the facts of the case? Just I will mention it. The facts of the case were like this. A pharmaceutical company here gave an advertisement saying that here any person who consumes the smoke balls manufactured by their here company, any person who consumes the smoke balls as per the directions given here, they will not contract influenza. They will not contract influenza. And any person, if after using the smoke balls as per the directions contracts influenza, the company will be liable to pay here £100 to that person. So this was the the offer that was given. Any person who contracts the influenza even after using those smoke balls as per the directions, then here the company will be liable to pay here 100 pounds. This is the fact of the case. This is the fact of the case. And Mrs. Cargill consumed the smoke balls, but in spite of that, as per the directions she consumed, but in spite of that, she contracted the influenza. The influenza was contracted by her. So she filed a case against the company saying that it was mainly here to claim here 100 pounds, as she has consumed here mainly the smoke balls as per the direction, but in spite of that she has contracted the influenza. So the company denied to give it. The company here denied to give it. It said that it was just here mainly an advertisement and invitation to offer. It was not actually offer. But when this was brought before the court of law, the court decided that the company has showed clear understanding to enter into a legal binding relation with the public, assuring them that they will not contract the influenza in spite of using it, and if they do so, 100 pounds will be paid. So what the court had was that it was mainly the intention of the company was to enter into a legal relations. Into the legal relation the company had to enter. So this mainly the thing was decided, and the order was issued here in favor of Mrs. Cargill. The verdict was given in favor of Mrs. Cargill, and it was said that company here has to pay 100 pounds to Mrs. Cargill. So this is because, as it was said, that this was a general offer. It was a general offer made by the company, and the company had the legal intention. It was not a mere invitation. It was not a mere invitation here to make the offer. It was not a mere declaration in the advertisement, but they had a real intention to enter into a legal relationship, and that thing here was accepted and by the law, and it was here held that company is liable to pay 100 pounds to Mrs. Cargill. This is the decided case you have got. Wherever I have given you these decided cases, try to remember these things. These are important here from your examination point of view or case studies. So this can be asked for 5 marks. Cargill versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company Limited. In your question paper, the last part, D part, can mainly be useful here. This is useful for your D part. So the question may be for 5 marks. They may change the name of the company, or they may change the facts, but the verdict you cannot change it. The verdict will be there, and when you give that verdict, you can refer this case as it is a decided case, Cargill versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company Limited case. So this is a case of a general offer. So implied express offer, implied offer, specific offer, general offer. The modes of offer we have discussed there. This is all for 2 marks, and this last one, general offer case which I have mentioned, it is for 5 marks question, case cut. And the definition of the proposal is again for 2 marks question. So this is what we have discussed in this mainly the session. So keeping this in view, so next thing what you are going to study is the essentials of the offer. So what are the essentials of a valid offer? Essentials of a valid offer. So this is the next aspect. Sometimes you can get here this question. This question can be there for 5 marks or 10 marks. It may be for 5 marks or 10 marks. The question may be asked. That is, what are the essentials of a valid offer? Essentials of the valid offer. This is what we will be discussing in the next session. In the next session, we will be holding this and we will be discussing it. Students, remember that whatever so far we have discussed, here make the points here and try to here revise the portion, because what we have discussed in the first topic, that is most important. That is most important, and that will be always repeated. We are going to repeat that. So when that repetition comes here, you should not forget what we have learnt in our first class. So keeping this here, mainly the thing here, the revision is the best method to here mainly see that. Here this particularly the thing will be here remembering. So if you have understood the first mainly the topic very systematically and clearly, you will follow these things very easily there. These things will be very easily followed. So keep that in your here point there. So when we come to the essay, we had seen earlier what were the essentials of a valid contract. Now to make a contract, what are the essentials of the valid contract? We have seen in section 10, they have been given a list. Now what we have studied, we are studying each essential in detail. From section 10, we are taking each essentials and trying to know how that can be here valid. So each essential should be also valid, because if one session here essential is invalid, the whole contract is vitiated. The whole contract here mainly becomes here unlawful. That's why here we are going to study what are the legal rules laid down in the act for the here valid offer. And this is a question they may be asking you in the 5 marks or 10 marks. So if it is for 10 marks, usually they will ask you 2 questions. So the question may be like this: define offer and state the essentials of the valid offer. Or in 5 marks, they may ask you direct question, that is, what are the essentials of the valid offer. So keep this in your mind. In my next video, I will be here sending here the essentials of the valid offer, which is also most important from your examination. We will continue it. Thank you.